Swanee, God has smiled on the Gators, no question about it.
All right, Gator fans. So great news for the Gators basketball program yet again. Thomas Haugh is coming back for his final year of eligibility in college basketball. It is just absolutely great to see how much the program has gone from being mediocre and irrelevant to being just a constant threat to go back to the Final Four, which seems like almost every single year. Now, I know they didn't make it back to the Final Four this past tournament, but they were certainly in the conversation, and they're going to be in the conversation again this year. And I have a feeling this season is going to end in a much more joyful result than what this past tournament brought in. So let's talk about it. Thomas Haugh is returning for his senior season. In the second round of the NCAA tournament, the number 1 seed Gators were upset by Iowa by one heartbreaking point. First team All-SEC forward Thomas Haugh visibly and audibly wept and sobbed out of sheer grief. He was mocked online by trolls of rival fan bases and by some Iowa fans. His face was beet red from tears. He mightily clutched his arms around his coaches and teammates as they embraced and consoled him. His disappointment was evident, as it was for the rest of the team. He knew deep down they had an opportunity to repeat as national champions, and that opportunity was a once-in-a-lifetime journey. So what begs the question was this: is he coming back for his final year of eligibility? The answer is a resounding yes. If you go back to the video that I did regarding some of Floyd's big returns, talking about Boogie Fland and Urban Klavzar and Isaiah Brown, and eventually Alex Condon would join the mix, I said in the video, I believe Haugh and Condon would either return together or leave together. I would have been shocked if one guy stayed and one guy left. Well, both guys are back. Both of them are back. And there are still a couple of big question marks for the basketball team that remain. Can Denzel Aberdeen get his waiver to come back for one more season? And will Ruben Chinyelu come back and build upon his already legendary UF career? Ruben Chinyelu announced that he was going to enter the NBA draft while maintaining his eligibility just to see what would happen. And based off of what I've been gathering, what I've been hearing, he is predicted to be a second-round pick, and he wants to be in the first round, so he might come back to try to build off of what he has already done. And Thomas Haugh, when you listen to his video, because he posted a 4-minute video detailing his journey from being a Florida fan in Pennsylvania growing up to now becoming a player and idolizing Tim Tebow and remembering the moment when Tebow announced that he was going to return to Florida for his senior season after they won the national title in 08, that the crowd just erupted with excitement that he was going to do one more year, that he was going to give Gainesville one more year of his excellence before he finished his college career. And Thomas Haugh is going down the same route. And Florida is a contender again, in my opinion, for the Final Four. In my opinion, I think they're already a favorite for the SEC for another SEC championship. Because who else in this conference is bringing back the level of production that Florida is bringing back? And that's just talking about from last year's team to this year's team. We're not even talking about players from the transfer portal. Denzel Aberdeen would be an example of that. And it's just fun. You've heard me make reference to when Bear Bryant was talking about the quote-unquote sleeping alligator regarding Florida football, and how he also proved to be right in the basketball program as well. Well, that basketball program wasn't a sleeping alligator when they lost to Iowa about a few weeks back. It was wide awake. They had just won the national championship a year prior and just won the SEC championship game a few weeks prior to the tournament starting. That loss to Iowa didn't wake up the alligator. If anything, that alligator has been angered to no end. And now it's on a quest for blood, not gold. These players believe that deep down they let a storybook season, or at least had a chance for one, slip away. They want redemption. They want reassurance. They want to make it back to the mountaintop. They want to build a dynasty. The Gator Boys are hot, and they're hot from hunger. And for the rest of the SEC, that is a terrible, terrible realization.